It was on these shores in Oriente Province where Christopher Columbus is said to have landed. It is also here where all the revolutions started. And it was here in the Sierra Maestra mountains where many French came to colonize this territory to grow coffee.
In the area around Gran Piedra, there are the ruins of 111 coffee farms. They belong to French owners who came from what used to be called Saint-Domingue, today Haiti. They began arriving from 1804 and the Haitian Revolution. They were the first inhabitants of the Sierra Maestra, and they came in their thousands. Some brought their own slaves, and others bought them here on the slave market of Santiago de Cuba. French influence can be seen in the local musical tradition with the Tumba Francesa.
In Santiago de Cuba, one finds traces of French culture. This region is also considered the birthplace of Cuban music. On a street corner, one can hear Creole words coming from an open window. The Tumba group is in the middle of rehearsals.
Umando, voy muele camagüey a buscar las reses que están allá.
We sing partly in French, partly in Creole, and a little in Spanish. It's a kind of mix. Tumba Francesa is an expression of the anger of the blacks who were oppressed. And since they couldn't defend themselves any other way, they used it to mock their masters since they were beaten and very badly mistreated. They observed their way of dancing and their customs, and they imitated them. They danced like their masters, who had music with wind instruments and orchestras. The difference is that they danced with African drums. And they danced with more rhythm than the French, because the French danced in a kind of ballet and little steps like at a ball. These drums date from the creation of the Tumba Francesa in 1862. The structure is original. Only the skin has been replaced. In the Tumba Francesa, there's a sort of battle between the drums and the dancers. It's like a fight between the dancers and the percussionists. But at the end, everyone is friends, no problem.
The Tumba Francesa reworks the codes of the 19th century when slaves reappropriated the dance of their masters, blending it with their own culture. The combat between the drums and the dancers begins in an allegory of the slaves' struggle for their freedom.
morena si quiere ir a bailar. Ven mi morena, ven mi morena, vamos a si quiere ir a bailar. Hemos la cena, hacemos el túnel.
After the combat comes union, and the blending symbolized by plaiting these ribbons in the colors of the nation.
When the drums start to play in Santiago de Cuba, the body automatically starts to vibrate. The rhythm of the drums means the body loses control and the feet dance on their own. You can't listen to a drum without starting to move. The salsa is danced everywhere, but the best music comes from here in Santiago de Cuba, the hot-blooded land.
Tres paros.
La Tierra Caliente. In every square, on every street corner, Santiago pulsates with music and dance.
¡Viva Fidel!
There is a clear expression of Cubania in the lightness of these dance steps.
Cuento voy para Margarita. El cariño que te tengo no puedo dejar.
Jorge does not have the voice of a troubadour, but he knows everything about Cuban music. Few people are as knowledgeable as he is. He's a producer, and every day he keeps abreast of what is going on and who's playing in Santiago.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Estoy cableado, ya tú sabes. Bueno, sí, todo otra vez. No, aquí.
Hi, how are you?
¿Cómo está quedando el disco?
How's the record?
Está quedando bueno, ¿verdad?
Me siento
Terrific. I'm really happy because, what's more, I've got a producer up there who's my son, and who was the bass player for Eliades Ochoa for a long time.
de Eliades Ochoa.
Aquí surge música constantemente.
Here you can hear music all the time. Santiago is a music factory in the good sense of the term.
Pero en el buen sentido de la palabra.
This record is packed full of Cubania at any point in the recording. Go ahead, click on any song. Go on. See how delicious that is? That's the music of Cuba and of the Caribbean.
In Santiago, there is one celebrated venue that is a must for all the great Cuban musicians. The Casa de la Trova. It's a tiny little hall, half open onto the street. Here, some of the greatest chapters of Cuban music are written.
Hi, Arturo. How's it going? Who's playing today?
At 3 p.m., there's Cuban Melody.
This is the Casa de la Trova of Santiago de Cuba. It's a very significant place for musicians and our values. A legendary venue for Santiago and for the whole country. It's very well known. When you come in here, you realize you're meeting many great figures. Look, for example, here, Miguel Matamoros, who's well known around the world. Who doesn't know Son de la Loma?
Mamá, yo quiero saber de dónde son los cantantes, que los encuentro galantes y los que los conocer, con sus trovas fascinantes que me las quiero aprender. Por ejemplo, no, yo no soy cantante.
I'm not a singer, it's just to show you.
No quería dejar de
And not to mention Compay Segundo. That's him there. He wrote the famous song Chan Chan. Well, more or less. He's played here loads of times. That demonstrates the culture and history that's here in this city. It's a story that's full of music, with a large element of folklore. You can come across conga players in the street. People come out and start dancing. And alongside that, there's the Franco-Haitian folklore of all those people who came from Haiti to Santiago de Cuba. All that produces some very original music, which is very little influence from elsewhere. It's the music of Santiago de Cuba. This is Alejandro Almenales Sanchez. I'd say today he's one of the elders of the trova, the last of the golden age.
The real Cuban music, the real musicians, they're all from here. The others are footnotes. It's a matter of rhythm. You've either got rhythm or you haven't. And you have to come from here. I'm telling you, it's all about rhythm.
Me has engañado. El sentimiento aquel era fingido.
Esta agrupación se llama Melodía Cubana.
This group is called Cuban Melody. They're a local Santiago group. The two singers have just been recording with Eliades Ochoa. And that resulted in some very good stuff. For producers like me, you can find a lot of talent here. It's a paradise for us, a musical paradise.
La Casa de la Trova is the crossroads for all Cuban society. Onel and Alina are professional dancers and regulars here. They know the workings of this world better than anyone. They make a date for the following day. It's a new day in Santiago.
Cubanía means overcoming all your difficulties and hardships. Despite everything, Cubanía is about having a good time with good music, salsa, or a good bolero. That's what it means to be Cuban. If you want my concept of Cubanía, we'll still be here tomorrow morning, because there are many, many things that distinguish us from other countries.
Cubanía also means a certain pride at being one of life's fighters. Alina and Onel, the dancers at the trova, have no qualms about revealing their private lives.
There's a whole family living here. That's the patio. This is my bedroom. And my dad, who's sick.
Alina!
Yes.
It's time to go to the trova.
Okay, let's go.
What would you like to change in your life?
What would I like to change? Everything. Everything. Because the truth is, you see the circumstances in which we live, and I live. Let me be very clear. I live off little dances that I perform at the trova, so that people give me a little tip, $1, a few pesos, or else something to eat.
It's true what she says. We are in need. There are real problems.
We have just enough to survive, to get by, more or less.
There are lots of places in the world where people think we live in happiness. But there are lots of people who live in sadness and poverty. I could tell you more, but I don't want you to go away with the wrong idea. We are artists, and we don't want to show disrespect to our history because we are revolutionaries. And our vocation is just to dance. But sadly, that's not the best way to get through.
Chao, nos vemos.
Look, Alina, they're dancing over there.
Un grupo sonero.
Alina, be careful.
Everyone knows me. Everybody likes me. Because I'm cheerful, happy, and I like enjoying my Cuban music. It's a way of forgetting the pain, sadness, and anxiety, everything. That's life in Cuba.
Come on, it's time to go to the trova. You can already hear the music.
In the evening, the upstairs room at the Casa de la Trova opens its doors to dancers. Alina and Onel will be able to put on a show. Cuba dances to the rhythm of its rich heritage in the midst of Reconstruction. But after half a century of Castro's politics, Cuba would also like to change the rhythm and dance to a new tune.